So in the previous video we have calculated the item test correlation, and in this video we're going to calculate the item rest correlation. And the item rest correlation is the correlation between the item and the unweighted sum score, but without the score of that specific item. So the function that we use here is the correlation function, which is just a basic correlation, just the same as any other correlation, only this time we're going to use the item and the scores without the score of that item. So to do that, we first have to calculate that score without the score of the item. And we're going to do that in Excel. We here have the score on the item 1, that's K1, and we have the scores for the unweighted sum scores. And we are going to have to calculate the unweighted sum scores, but this time without the score of item 1. So here we can select the score of item 1 minus the score the score of item 1, and do that for all the items. So that was the sum scores without item 1. Yeah, right. Okay. If we have that information, then in essence what we need to do now is calculate the covariance, because we have the sum scores without the score of the item and we have the scores on item 1. So to get to the covariance, we can just use the same covariance function that we used earlier, and instead of using the unweighted sums, this time we use the unweighted sums without the score on item 1. So here we use the covariance function for all the scores on item 1 and also all the scores on the unweighted sum scores without the score on item 1. And that gives us the covariance for between item 1 and the unweighted sum scores without that item 1. We already have the variance, and we now need to calculate the variance of the unweighted sum scores, but we can just expand the previous one, and then Excel will calculate it for us. So now we have the covariance, and we have the variance for item 1 and for the unweighted sum scores without item 1. So the rest item correlation, to get that we have to divide the covariance by the square root of the variance for item 1. That's this one. And we have to multiply that one. Oh, no, not this one. Go back. Go back. Yes. Yeah. And we have to multiply that with the square root. There we have it. Again, square roots of the variance for the unweighted sum scores without the scores, so for the rest scores in essence. And if we do that, we have the item rest correlation, and that is in essence exactly the same as performing a correlation. So if we use the correlation function and we say, well, use all the scores for item 1 and for the unweighted sums, we get the same result.